I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm here at Barnstable Municipal Airport, and I'm joined by two members of the Cape Cod and Islands Art Educators Association. We're here to talk about the new artwork that's on display at the airport. I'm joined by HoYin Yuen and Craig Brodt, both educators, a big part of the association itself and a big part of the display we're going to talk about. So HoYin, why don't you tell us a little bit about the association itself?
The association is comprised of retired art teachers, active art teachers, and aspiring art teachers. We meet monthly, and the content is diverse from best practice to technology workshops to advocacy, museums, and cultural destinations we travel to.
Wonderful. And Craig, you are a teacher at DY.
Yes, DY High School.
And what's your involvement with the association?
I'm currently the president for the last 2 years, and it's been rewarding as a president with all the connections and the working with the different organizations from Cape Cod Art Association, the Cape Cod Museum of Arts, the Cultural Center, and it's important for us as teachers to get the students' work and have those connections to get the students' work out there. And they've been very supportive of getting the students' work in a professional setting, which is very important for a young budding artist to have that happen. And for us, it's great to have an opportunity like this at the Cape Cod Airport in a public space to have our own work so we can showcase that we're professionals as well. We do also create as well as the teaching.
Absolutely. I think it speaks volumes to your role in the community outreach, having folks see this, and again, showing the students that as well. Now, this particular exhibit here at the airport has to do with a sense of place, was the theme.
Correct.
And let's talk a little bit about that.
This idea of sense of place, being that this is the Cape Cod Airport and it brings in so many different people from different locations, it was important for them to see the artwork reflect where we are from, and all the art teachers that are involved in this show, we live it and we're in the surroundings, so it's hard for it not to rub off into our work. And I think that the work in this show does represent this idea of the Cape and what it's about, the waters, the fish behind us, shell forms, and even some of, there's a watercolor with buoys. So it really does give it this sense of place and where we are. And I think that's important for people to understand and know that, especially in a public place like this.
I think what's also important for people to know is that, and what's so generous is the educators have said from any sales of their works, a percentage is going back to the association.
Yeah, that's correct. We have decided as a board to donate 30% of any of the sales. The airport being a public venue, they weren't looking for any commission. So as a board, we decided, this would be a great opportunity for fundraising for our students, because we give 2 scholarships a year. They're $500 scholarships, and we wanted to, increase that. We're a 501c3, so we're nonprofit, so it makes it a little bit easier to jump into this realm of fundraising. And we've already had a good response with this particular show. My department had sold one of his pieces, which in turn pays for one of those scholarships already. Wow. So we feel like we're ahead of the game in our fundraising efforts for this year.
Wonderful. And let's talk, HoYin, a little bit about the selection process. There were 33 who applied. How many pieces of work are on display?
I believe there were 11 that were selected.
Which must be hard. I'm sure you want to put all 33 up there.
It's challenging. It kind of had to be an exhibit that had a flow to it, and it wasn't disjointed. The medias are very diverse. Some are paintings, some are sculptures. And to have that cohesive, Michael Giaquinto helped with that, setting it up, and Bud was also in that process.
And the public has an opportunity certainly to come anytime during the airport hours to look at the work. There's a reception to meet the artist. And then this is an ongoing collaboration.
Yeah, it turned into an ongoing collaboration with Michael Giaquinto, who is also a curator at the Cape Cod Museum of Art, which, one of those other connections that we have. We always have our monthly meetings at the Cape Cod Museum of Art. He has, in turn said, this went so smoothly working with the art teachers and educators. Why don't we flip this right into another show and continue the efforts and the collaboration. And we're certainly not going to say no. With the success we've been having with this first show.
Great. Well, as you say, one already sold. Certainly people coming through can buy the artwork or go right online to the organization and even just make a straight donation too for the scholarship fund. I'm sure you won't say no to that.
No, that would be wonderful.
Let's talk a little bit about a few of the pieces that are here on display now through the end of the year, at least before you replace the exhibit next year. This is Carl Loeb's piece. I love Carl's work. Can you talk a little bit about this?
Carl's work is painting. He uses airbrush, he uses paper, and then he puts a resin on top of it. I think it's really unique in terms of the colors, the composition, the idea. It's kind of taking on like a sculptural element, which I really enjoy. And then it's also got, obviously, the sense of place, that fish, maybe even like a flying fish or something with the airport, which is kind of cool.
Very cool. So we moved a little bit down in the airport, and we have a group of paintings here and works. And as we were saying earlier, the work is varied as far as the type, whether it's encaustic or oil or assemblage type style. Let's review these groups of paintings right here.
Okay. Over out here, we have Barnstable represented in a more graphic way, and it was computer generated. And I know that Kristen Curtis is the artist that created it. She uses her use of color was pretty vibrant, and which gives us, this idea of sense of place, which we wanted to stick to that theme. It could be used as promotional. So, like I said, very graphic arts. And then as we move through, we have a seahorse that is made of clay, and it, just that connection to water. As we go through, that idea of water keeps kind of coming through. There's Miss Mullins has made. It almost looks like an underwater scene. I don't know if that was the original intent for it, but those light blues and light colors that shows through, but the imagery, it looks like an underwater scene. And as we move through these, there's Miss Persicino, who I've been a co-teacher with at the middle school level before moving up to the high school. Both of us moved to the high school. She has dealt with housing as one of her imagery, which is a big deal here on the Cape. So it gets, culturally, it gets, personal. Their perceptions come out in their work and how they deal with it. But it kind of looks like more of a birdhouse, that, scaling down of, the size. And the mixed materials that she used was pretty powerful, I thought. And Lenore Lyons using encaustic. I mean, that idea of wax with paints and using those types of colors, gives it that underwater sort of feel. HoYin, did you have any others?
I was just thinking as you were talking, it's really cool to see the diversity in media. Diversity in people's work, like they're from elementary school up to the college, they're just from Provincetown all the way up to Bourne and Falmouth. It's great to see that connection.
So Craig, now we're here with your piece.
Yeah, this is a piece that I've created. I mainly work with clay. I teach all disciplines from sculpture to ceramics in the advanced levels. And then this is a particular piece that I've created. It's a shell form, and this idea of placing it on a particular base that it looks like stone, and this idea of people walking the beaches and picking special shells and collecting them. We've all done that, but that sense of place, like I said, is we all walk the beaches, we comb them, and look for those connections of something special. And we have it here.
We absolutely do. And I love hearing the stories behind the pieces and where the ideas come from and how they're generated. Again, our viewers can get more information on the artists, I'm sure, to be in touch with them and to come and see the pieces online on your website and through the Barnstable Municipal Airport, artsbarnstable.com as well. I hope in the future we get to come again to see the next series. Will the theme always be Sense of Place?
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with that theme so that it really hones in on the the people coming to view the work. I think it's a pretty general theme that we can all have our perceptions and make the connections to the place that we live in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa Chartre. I'm wishing you an artful day.